Welcome everybody to another episode of Meet Me in Napa Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Jackson. How you guys doing today? I have some very, very special guests with us here today, Miss Blaire and Tamer, or Tamer and Blaire. How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Good. Yeah. Thank you guys for coming on. We've been trying to make this happen for a while. You guys are a very important part of my journey here in Napa. So it was important to me to have you guys on and talk about, your guys' life and career and, everything that encompasses what you guys do out here in the Valley. So thank you.
Thank you.
Before we get started though, let's grab some of these glasses of wine. Let's have a cheers. Yeah.
There you go, honey.
Have a cheers. Cheers to a great conversation. Great storytelling. All right.
Here we go.
This is always the best part of the interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very nice.
So, thank you for coming. Miss Blaire, we'll start with you.
Okay.
You are, and we're going to start with you because you're a Napa native.
I am.
You are a Napa native, right? Mm-hmm. So, where were you born and where were you raised?
I was born in Santa Rosa, but my dad was in St. Helena in the 70s. And so he's been around for quite a while.
That's when the land was cheap, huh?
Yeah, that's when the land was cheap. It was very much a farming community. And I was raised in St. Helena in a little log cabin behind his antique shop, which later turned into a furniture shop of his.
Okay. Is it still here? Or?
It's actually still there. It's right next to the Bale Mill. It's still an antique shop, but he sold it and moved to Calistoga for a little while. And now my whole family is in Napa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Mr. Tamer,
yes,
how you doing?
Doing great.
All right. And we'll get to you now. You're from Australia.
That's right. From Melbourne.
So, Melbourne. Mm-hmm. Melbourne. So you
Melbourne.
had Melbourne. Okay. It's a funny story. I always have to get corrected on how I enunciate things. Language. Yeah, that's somebody who's watching.
No
they know. So you're from Melbourne, Australia.
That's right.
Okay.
Born to Egyptian parents who emigrated in 1971 to Melbourne with mum pregnant with me, 7 months pregnant with me.
She was 7 months pregnant and she was in Egypt at the time.
Yeah.
And moved to,
That's right.
Now, what was the reason that she left from Egypt to Australia?
Well, she just really wanted to build a better life for her children ultimately. But as a Christian Egyptian family, she felt some of the persecution happening towards Christians at that time. And if you could afford to get out, you did. And a lot of my family ended up in Canada. We ended up in Australia.
Okay. Yeah. So from Australia, one of the things that, let me kind of dial back for a second. One of the things that we connected by is because you guys have Salty Sunday. Mm-hmm. And Salty Sunday is, matter of fact, I'll let you guys explain it better because you could explain it way better than I can. But that was my introduction to you guys with Salty Sunday. So explain to me a little bit about what Salty Sunday is.
Well, it first came from these patio parties that we would throw at our former restaurant, Gran Electrica, downtown Napa. It was a beautiful restaurant and we loved it very much, but post-COVID, staffing issues sort of forced us to close it. And with that closure, we just obviously felt really sad to sort of leave our community behind. And so we decided to carry on these patio parties and call them Salty Sundays. Actually, it's plural.
Okay,
all
Salty
the Sundays.
Yeah.
And we just didn't really have sort of a plan for what we wanted to do. So we thought, we'll just see if we can pop these up in different venues around the Napa Valley. Mm-hmm. And at least when we close Gran Electrica, we can tell the community we are closing, but you can see us once a month at these events that are going to be in other venues, but it'll be the same community. It'll be the same sort of vibe and energy and welcoming, everyone from all walks of life just to like dance and party and have a great time. And so that's sort of how it started.
Yeah. And I think aside from being restaurant operators, we just always love throwing parties. So it's kind of a natural progression for us. I get to pursue my musical passions with DJing. Blaire is a performing artist, got to bring a whole lot of amazing performance angle into the parties. So,
Yeah. I mean, if you have not if you're in the Valley or you haven't heard and you want to come to the Valley, these are the parties to go to. I was at the first time I ever attended one was the closure of Grand Electric.
Oh,
that was the first time. Harry invited me, and he was like, "Hey, it's closing. We're just gonna have a little fun. We're gonna be partying." I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I came and I was like, okay, it was different for me, you know what I mean? But I had so much fun, and it was exactly what you said without, before you even just clarified it here. It was community driven. Mm-hmm. It was open. The people were just loving, they were accepting. It was like people were embracing me. I literally made friendships that night that I still talk to today from that particular night.
I love that.
And the other continued parties that I've been to. And so, I just love it. I just love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, the community part of it is honestly just what's kept it alive for the past, 3.5 years. It's really just about, sometimes events are more lucrative than others, but that's really not what's driving us. It's just offering something that is super playful and creative and interesting and theatrical, and sexy and, all of these things that don't really exist in Napa on a sort of monthly basis, like what we've been offering.
Right.
People need to dance.
People need to dance.
You got to dance. That is true. And not to like beat down on the Valley or anything, but you have noticed, or I have noticed, and then I work in a barbershop, and I hear a lot of conversations. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I always hear is people say that Napa closes too early.
Yeah.
And then what do I do, after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, right? And so you guys offer that small piece of like fun for the community, which is dope. It is, but unfortunately, it's like if you're not tapped in or don't know someone, you don't know to come to it, right?
Well, and so it's it is at these different locations. Yes, different locations. And unless you're following us on Instagram, or part of our newsletter, it is sort of like this underground. Yeah. It's like you do have to kind of be tapped in. Yeah. But of course, once you're in, you feel the moment you step into our parties, you really do just feel that openness, that community, no judgment. We have people who just come to our parties by themselves. Yeah. And they're sober, we have all different types of people who join us, but once they're kind of in, they get it. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. I get it now.
It's an adult playground. It's definitely an adult playground. It's lots of fun. I will say in my experiences, one of the highlights of all your Salty Sundays was you had one in the cave.
Yeah,
and
that one was great.
That was a Valentine's Day one too, I believe.
That was the first one, yeah.
That was the first one, yeah.
That was the first Queen of Hearts.
And there was a lady dancing from the ceiling, and there was all kind of stuff going on, and we were just like, me and my wife walked in, we were like, oh, okay.
Is this Napa? That's what a lot of people actually say. They're like, I feel like I'm in Brooklyn, or I feel like I'm in
very super
Berlin.
New York, 90s vibe. Like just, it was, I was speaking to Tamer off mic before we started, I was telling him, the parties that you guys have, or when I was in the 90s growing up as a teenager, I would see them on movies. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that only happens in New York or like in San Francisco. Yeah. And I was like, I can't wait to get older. And I used to see these big warehouse scene parties. And so, and it's just such good energy. Never had one, at least me personally, but never had one negative experience. Yeah. People are highly respectful. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a side of it too, is that we're all kind of working adults too. So we're not with a bunch of young, 20 somethings with just nothing to lose,
Lots of parents.
Lots of
everyone's professional.
Nobody has their phones out, and it's none of that going on. So I really love it.
It's a sophisticated party.
It is. Exactly.
We're professional partiers.
Professional partier. But there is so much more to you guys than just partying, of course. Mm-hmm. You are a restaurateur, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So
was.
You were.
Maybe getting back in the game.
Okay.
Maybe,
we'll see.
So let's talk about your upbringing in Australia a little bit.
Sure.
Like, what was that like, and how did you get to the States?
So I graduated high school, basically went straight into a hospitality management program, and didn't quite know what area of hospitality I wanted to focus on, but eventually kind of made my way through all the different facets, from bars to cafes, hotels, and ultimately fine dining restaurants. And that's kind of where I sort of spent most of my time, if you will. Decided to go on a trip to South America in the early 2000s, based in Argentina. I wanted to learn Spanish. I did that. And then on a whim, I came to New York to visit an ex-girlfriend of mine. And I didn't fall back in love with her, but I fell in love with New York City.
That's not hard. That's not hard to do.
Not hard at all. No. And I just knew that that's where I needed to be. And I was 100% sure that this was the spot for me. Okay. I didn't know how I was going to make it happen, but I just knew I needed to make it happen. Okay. And so eventually I found myself a job in a pretty amazing restaurant that took me on and basically hired me as a server. I did a week of training, and at the end of that week, they basically promoted me to manager and sponsored me and gave me a visa. So that was the beginning of my journey in the US.
That was pretty fast.
The American dream.
It was,
right.
It was kind of
American
amazing.
dream.
Yeah. I'm so thankful for those guys.
Nothing in your bank account.
No, literally
no
living
plans.
on credit cards.
Yeah.
You know, if I couldn't make it happen, I was going home to live with my parents.
The immigrant dream, the immigrant American dream.
Yeah. And you picked the right industry because the restaurant's always hurting for somebody responsible, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
he's really good at what he does.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's true.
Yeah, so I worked for those guys for a good 8 years. I actually met Blaire there. I hired Blaire as a host.
Oh, that's how the love story started, huh?
That's how it started.
Now, wait. Now, Blaire, were you there when he first got hired, or were you? You came a little bit later.
I came a little after, but it wasn't. You'd been there how long?
I'd been there for 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, he was pretty well. He was the GM by the time that I got there, so he was really running the show.
Okay.
I mean,
now did he hired you?
He hired me. I just backpacked through Southeast Asia and went to Burning Man. This is 2007, and I graduated college, so I kind of took this long summer away, and I came back and I was like, I need a job. And so that's when you would actually use Craigslist. That's when Craigslist was
we're dating ourselves
useful.
now.
I know. Good old days. And I just responded to this hostess ad on Craigslist, and Tamer interviewed me, and we had this really long interview process. It was honestly kind of more like a first date because we just were sharing travel stories, and I told him about, Burning Man in Southeast Asia, and he loves Southeast Asia. We both really have a deep love for Southeast Asia, so we really connected on that. And then he offered me the job, and I told him, I think about it. So,
you got other job offers, or you?
I got the job, and I was like, I'll let you know.
And then she never called.
And then I never called.
So let me ask you this: in that process, did you sense like he likes me?
I mean, there definitely was a real curiosity between the two of us and a connection. I did have a boyfriend at the time.
That was puppy love.
But there was always a real magnetic energy between the two of us. And we were always just friends when we worked together, but our hugs were very long. And he would give me, this is pre-Me Too, when you could hug your, manager.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I was like, Me Too kind of ruined all that. But there are a lot of great love stories that came out of, prior to.
No, it was very
how people meet.
flirtatious.
But we worked alongside each other for 2 years.
Yeah,
it was just very professional.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeremy. And it wasn't until I left that restaurant to open the company's next restaurant that we started sort of meeting each other.
I broke up with
work.
my boyfriend, and Tamer literally
Pounced.
booked a date in that week. It was it's time.
You know what I mean?
And so
there's no time to waste.
Yeah,
there's no time to waste. To anybody young watching this, you don't have to be overly aggressive, but don't waste time either.
Yeah.
You got to go for what you want.
Yeah.
So you open up a restaurant. And you were working in New York.
Eventually, I worked for these guys for a while and decided to break away and start my own little restaurant group. And so with a couple of business partners, we opened one and then another and then another. We had 3 within the first year and a half.
All in Brooklyn.
And it was a wild ride. And then one of those actually drowned in Hurricane Sandy in 2012, 3 months after it opened. So that was pretty intense. But it only made us a stronger unit as a partnership. And then Blaire and I decided we were ready for a West Coast move and wanted to figure out a way to make that happen. And came out to Napa and basically after a little while of kind of researching Napa and figuring out what was possibly going to work here, we decided to bring our Mexican restaurant concept from Brooklyn to downtown Napa. And Grand Electrica #2 was born, and it was amazing. It had a great run.
What year was it?
So 2018.
2018. Okay, so you just right before COVID.
Yeah,
Okay.
right before a bunch of
Yeah,
wildfires.
right before a lot of stuff.
It was wild.
It was
Yeah.
not an easy run. I was like, I moved to New York when I was 18. Tamer had been, we both were there for about 15 years. So it was, New York City is obviously an intense city. It takes a lot of energy to live there. And so I was luring him to California for this like very chill, relaxed California new life and chapter. And we get here and it's literally
like wildfires,
fire,
COVID,
and then I think that was around the time like George Floyd was killed and there was like protests and like the sun didn't come out one day and it was like the sky was orange,
and
then it was COVID and then we couldn't open the restaurant because the air was so toxic at times, but then we couldn't see people inside because of COVID. It was just like so many challenges during that time.
But we made it. We actually made it through pretty well. We actually got to the other side of COVID.
But I was like,
in good
California, shape. I promise, it's chill. It's gonna be better than New York. Because he's like, it's so stressful here. This is really stressful. Eventually, now it's not as stressful. But yeah, it was a very stressful time. But it was great. There were beautiful moments with Grand Electrica for sure.
Yeah, I'm still very proud of what we created there, and Salty Sundays is a really wonderful offshoot from all of that. We'll see what happens next, but there's something in the pipeline, but I can't really share.
You can't talk about it. All right, now. Tell me off mic.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
So Blaire, you had a personal journey with some health issues that you went through. Would you let us know like what that was and how you got through it, and how did it help shape your guys' journey in business and love and life and even your own personal perspective?
Yeah, thank you. In August of 2024, like 1 week before our pool party at Triple S Ranch. Did you make it to any of the pool parties?
I didn't make it to any. Yeah,
Triple S Ranch was so amazing. That property is like one of my favorites.
Stunning.
It's magical. Anyway, maybe we'll do another one there and you can come. But literally like a week before, this big event of ours, I obviously massive shock, was diagnosed with breast cancer. I'd found a lump in my armpit, and it ended up being a positive lymph node as well as 2 areas in my right breast. So it was obviously really, really shocking. I was 40 and it had probably developed when I was 39. So it was, very young.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not that young nowadays. Women are being diagnosed younger and younger. But yeah, it definitely was one of the hardest things I've been through in life so far. We considered canceling, Triple S Ranch and canceling the pool party, and how could I, in my mind I was like, how can I get dressed up in my cowgirl outfit and go and host a bunch of people and worry about drinks and the host and all these things that come along with managing an event. So we took a couple of days to sort of marinate and think about what felt right, and ultimately I realized that I love what I do so much, and Salty Sundays is so nourishing and fulfilling, and it brings both of us so much joy. I realized, this is actually exactly what I need right now. I need community, and I need to dress up and forget about it for a day and be playful and silly and dance in the sunshine, really. It was the medicine that I actually needed. And so in that moment, it really, first of all, made me realize how much I do love what I do, and just how important it is what we do. It's not just a party. It can be very healing to be in community in the way that sort of we present it with Salty Sundays. We carried on. We had an amazing event. We had a beautiful summer, and after that event, it was really like, okay, we have to make some very, very big decisions here.
Right.
And I ended up having a pretty major surgery. I had a double mastectomy. They removed my lymph nodes as well. I got to keep my nipples and they look amazing. Don't worry. And yeah, it was a year really of, I had these things called expanders first put in me. So I had implant surgery later on. But I went through radiation. I'm on hormone blockers right now because the breast cancer was fueled by hormones.
Okay.
So, I am cancer free, but really it's a matter of just time. And I'm still dealing with some of the treatments. So, okay. But and
how was that like as a couple? I mean, oftentimes when somebody's going through something that traumatic, we always think about the person who's going through it, but then you think about the spouse, right?
Yeah.
And how did that weigh on you, and what were you thinking about, and just what were you kind of going through as you were watching your bride go through this thing?
Honestly, Jeremy, it blew my mind to see how fast she recovers and how much grace she has within that recovery. And her spirit was always high. I mean, obviously there were some dark moments, but for the most part, it was truly remarkable to watch her battle this and fight through it. And it's only made me appreciate her that much more. Yeah.
Yeah, Tamer is an amazing caretaker, and it was really hard, but there was beauty in it. There really was. And that's a lesson that I took with me, is like, I just have never felt so loved and supported by my community and by people I didn't even know, who, is just like this just the outpouring of support and love was just overwhelming, really.
Yeah.
But something that was surprising is because we imagined, after my surgery, we're not gonna produce the Salty Sundays maybe for another 6 months. Like, who knows? Like, you just don't know how you're gonna really feel after all these big things. And I just wanted to do more, really. Honestly, like after my big surgery, we still did a Halloween party, and I actually still went. It was a month after, and so I'd had my drains removed, and I was able to go and be very, very gentle with myself. And actually, one of my friends, Kim, who does the most amazing costumes at Salty Sundays, she's like an incredible costume designer. She made me this spiked chest piece so no one could hug me or touch me, basically, because I wanted to go and just be there. It just felt so wrong.
Which one was that?
That was Halloween at Wilfred's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it was maybe 2 years ago at this point?
November 24.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still was like, I need to go. And so, yeah, it just, it was so important for me to continue to, produce these parties. Yeah. It was,
I will say, I didn't know about it till well after.
Yeah.
Like, you were well beyond. And so to even see you at some of these parties, not knowing, but you were still there, as I think about it now, that's a testament of just like your courage and your strength in your fight. And it's a testament to community, right?
Yeah.
Because we have, of course, we're, if we're single, we have family. Some people have kids, some people have, spouses. We all have different pockets of community. But to kind of have this outside community that you find through a shared commonality of just like fun and party, and then it turns into a family. Yeah. Right? Because it's like, well, yeah, I was coming to just, it's a good to let my hair down, but then you meet people and then you hear these stories on the back end. I mean, this isn't the first time, maybe not as deep as like cancer, but there's people that I met, and then, one day we're partying, the next day we're having lunch, and then I get to hear some amazing stuff, and I'm like, whoa, wow, and so, and you get to share. One of our salty friends officiated me and my wife's wedding.
Shyla.
Yeah, Shyla. Yeah,
and we're helping produce her wedding now.
Okay, yeah, right. And so it's like, it's just like all these things. Like, when we got married, she was like, "Can I officiate?" And me and Lynn were like, "Okay." You know, we were just kind of taken aback because that feels like a very like personal thing, you know, like a very intimate thing. So for her to have reached out that way, it just kind of shows
it goes beyond the dance floor.
It goes beyond the dance floor and how deeply people feel for one another and just, so.
And how needed and necessary it really is, you know? I mean, we have people who've told us, you know, Salty Sundays really helped their marriage because it gave them the opportunity, first of all, something to look forward to, like on a regular basis, dancing, feeling sexy, you know, dressing up, just being creative, and just, again, being in community with like-minded people and people who are just enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it's helped people's marriages, you know. I have a friend who, he and his partner, he told me, you know, that they go to Salty Sundays because it feels safe and they feel like, you know, they can dress how they want.
Right.
They can, you know, just be in an openly gay relationship and no one's gonna, you know, there's not gonna be judgment or any issues.
Yeah.
Because the people that come to our events are, it's like, it's all are welcome.
It's a mixed,
you know?
it's a mixed bag for sure. Yeah. I love it.
And those stories, I just love hearing those stories, you know, because
Yeah.
I think now more than ever, right? We need that.
We do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, it is a time where people really need to hone in into their tribe and really, find that space.
Yeah.
It feels like we'll be needing more community more and more as the days go by.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of dial back a little bit. When you were saying you were at the restaurant in New York.
Yeah.
And as you said that, a question kind of popped in my mind was you were there for 8 years.
Yep.
What led you, what were you going through that made you feel like I can start my own group and do like, how did that formulate for you?
You know,
like mindset. Yeah. Like get kind of into the mindset thing. Yeah.
About my dad. What didn't you tell my
Well, there was that for sure. So, well, that most certainly was one of the motivations. I was in that mode of pursuing Blaire, and I got invited to a wedding with her and her family, and on sort of the first time I really got to know her parents. And as we were walking to the wedding, I was walking alongside her father, and we were sort of separate from the rest of the group. And he was, you know, "Who is this guy, Tamer?" And he started kind of quizzing me, and he's like, "So what are you all about? What are your plans?" And I said, "Well, I plan to open a restaurant by the end of next year." And I did. Yeah. So
like, I told Blaire's dad I'm going to open a restaurant.
He was like, "No, what are your plans with my daughter?" That was
So I there was certainly that obligation there to make that happen. But ultimately, you know, I felt really confident through working at that restaurant for some time, learning a lot from the owners who, you know, were very much my mentors and have a huge, you know, hospitality background, years and years of experience, and I just felt ready, you know. And you know, say what you like about America, but it is the land of opportunity. It is. You can make things happen if you work hard and try hard, and I saw that. That
is the common thread, the land of opportunity. It is. It is. And with your professional career now, you were in the restaurant, but what did you do? What was your role in your career, professional career?
I actually moved to New York for theater, and so that's where sort of the theatrical side of Salty Sundays comes from.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so my background is theater, production, and I actually worked in costumes for a little while in New York as well.
Okay.
So I was performing off Broadway, I was doing commercial shoots, like life, you know, all sorts of different things. But when I wasn't working, I was working in the restaurant, as so many, you know, actors do.
Yeah.
And I started getting into more production, you know, behind the camera, that type of thing. So that's what also has really helped me with Salty Sundays and producing those events, because there's a lot of moving parts.
It is actually, it is a production. That makes so much sense now that you say that, because it's very theatrical. It's just very,
there's many different layers to them. And so that's, for me, my background is theater production, costumes, and hospitality as well. So that really, and then Tamer brings in, of course, the music. So it's really just a marriage of all of, these skills that we've like picked up throughout the years.
What's your favorite play?
Oh, I mean, I love Shakespeare. I would say A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's like one of my favorite. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite modern play?
Oh gosh, that's
movie, play, just in that realm.
Oh God, this is so basic, but I love Wicked.
I think she's seen it 4 times.
I'm a musical theater girl. I'm a musical theater girl. So I was in New York City when Wicked first came on Broadway. And so I've known the score and the music, since I was 18. And so, yeah.
Did you read the book?
I didn't read the book. No,
I'm
just the musical theater nerd. So I have seen Wicked 1 4 times, and the new Wicked I've only seen it once, or the second Wicked I've only seen it once. But yeah, I'm I'm a bit of a
and how did you get into the DJing world? What led you to the? You're a pretty fancy DJ, I will say.
Well, thank you. That's a lovely compliment.
You're a fancy DJ, honey.
I'll take it. I kind of raced over my life history in Melbourne, my hospitality career, but I did ultimately end up as my first business opening a nightclub in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I was always very passionate about electronic music. I was a young raver in the late 80s.
I was a young raver too. That's also something that we were baby ravers.
And we touched on this a little bit off camera as well, but I was obsessed with it, obsessed with the music, and never really pursued DJing. I had my own nightclub in Melbourne and I never DJ'd there ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is crazy to me now.
And this nightclub is legendary. Let me just give him a little plug.
Is he downplaying it?
He won't say. But when we go back to Melbourne and we talk about, we'll be at a restaurant or whatever, and the name of the nightclub will come up, Honky Tonks. Literally every person is like, you were one of the honky tonk owners. That nightclub was legendary. Nothing has touched it since. And that happens, I'm telling you, all the time. I'm not exaggerating. It was legendary.
I was going to ask you that. Cool. Like, what was in comparison, was nightlife there the same? Did it look like it was in New York? Like, what was life in Australia like? People in America, we only get what TV gives us, and that's Crocodile Dundee, right? That's and I mean, of course, you can't.
It's not like,
we know it's not like that, right? But it's like we don't really have at least I didn't have a really true conception of what life in Australia was like. So
yeah, I think Australia's nightlife was maybe more connected to the European or the UK rave scene initially, and Australians love to party.
Yeah.
We're pretty hardcore actually. Okay. And Melbourne had a pretty awesome kind of liquor license situation, so you could go to parties till all hours of the night into the morning, and we were quite famous for our party scene. And so when we opened this club, we wanted to do a club that was visually stimulating everywhere you looked, and we built it with our own hands. Like we basically created every artistic detail in the space. We designed it ourselves. We built it ourselves. And it was really cool. It had so many funky elements to it. And, for example, we decided to build the DJ decks into a white baby grand piano. And that piano was positioned basically on the middle of the dance floor, just on a little podium.
So everything was
so the
around
decks
you.
were where the keys would be.
Yeah.
And people could dance all around the piano, and that kind of became almost the trademark of the club, and everyone knew the club because it had the DJ decks in the piano.
Yeah.
And that was just one small design element of many. We were all like the 5 founding partners. We were all passionate about the music, and so we were doing our best to really seek out the most interesting kind of underground electronic music at the time. And in a sense, basically educating the Melbourne public on what was really cool and fresh.
Yeah.
And so that became really popular, and we were very creative in terms of what we would do at the club. And so there was always wacky, crazy stuff going on, which, we sort of bring a little bit of that to Salty Sundays.
How was it described in the article? It was like there's this article about honky tonks. I think we still have the magazine, and it's like the perfect balance. Honky tonks was like the perfect balance of like sophistication and debauchery.
Yeah.
Like it's again, there's
wherever you choose to draw that line at. So who's your favorite like electronic like DJ or EDM? Like
that's a tough question.
Yeah, maybe not at number one, but name a couple who inspire you, or just like I was telling you, my first it was like DJ AM. I was telling you off mic. I was thinking about him, but I don't know the world's in the pocket, so I don't know if I'm putting him in the right pocket.
I mean, I have so many favorites. It's really hard to pick one, but I will say in terms of inspiration, it would have been a DJ that I stumbled across at Burning Man 10 years ago in 2015. And we were literally, after a huge night out, we stayed up till sunrise and we were riding back exhausted, getting back to our camp. And we passed a big sound camp, and there was this guy playing.
And there was like 10 people dancing, it was
Yeah,
probably,
on this phenomenal sound system. The sound camp was called White Ocean, and we just rode our bikes past and heard this music and had to stop because it sounded
and we were
so incredible.
Tired, and we were so ready to go to bed, but we're like, we must follow the music.
Yeah, and we jumped off our bikes and just started dancing, and the music just got better and better. And by this stage, it's like 9 a.m. The sun's fully out.
We have like no water left. We're like getting sunburned.
But we couldn't leave because the music was so good. And eventually I asked some random guy next to me, who is this guy? And he said it was this LA Armenian guy named Goldcap.
Okay.
And so as soon as we got home from the burn, I researched this guy and just found all of his music. And from there, my whole musical sort of direction changed. And I went down this rabbit hole of all the associated artists that he plays, and it was truly inspirational. It changed my life, that moment.
So you brought up Burning Man, and so I have a question, because I've heard of it, right? But I think not till I moved here did I actually meet real burners. At least they were willing to admit it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
they're just like us.
Yeah. I've been invited, and I do want to go. Just haven't been able to do it yet. But give me some clarity to what Burning Man is. What are the misconceptions of it? What is the realization of it? And what are some of the things that people may say that actually is true, right? I think over the last couple of years, there's been some very negative press about Burning Man. But just give us a little bit of insider look into what is Burning Man for somebody who's never, we've all heard of it. Maybe they're like, I want to know, and you guys are some true burners. Like, what would you say? What would you say? I'm a novice burner and I want to go. What would you tell me?
I would tell you that you absolutely should go.
Okay.
In fact, I wish everyone could go and make that a point at some point in their lives. But
we need to send Donald Trump to Burning Man.
There are certainly a lot of misconceptions. One of which is that it's just a music festival. It's way more than that.
Yeah, it's not really.
It's really an event that celebrates community spirit. It celebrates art in all of its forms. It celebrates
wackiness and weirdness and just total freedom of expression.
The creativity that you find out there is just unmatched from anything else in the world. It really blows your mind. And the fact that it happens here in America also is something that's super cool that we can be proud of, that
it's very hard to describe because of all the different factors. It honestly makes you feel at times like you're on another planet because you are in this sort of like Mars like atmosphere on the playa. It's just flat and dusty, and the mountains are around you, and the sky is like so vibrant. But something that is really incredible when you listen to music in the desert on these massive sound systems is everything just sounds so good. The quality of the sound is it's really hard to describe it because, it's like, when are we in the desert listening to these like multi-million-dollar sort of sound systems? But yeah, I'd say
the non-commercial aspect of it is really cool as well. And you meet people from all over the world who share, similar values, and it's all about inclusivity and just being kind to one another.
Helping each other.
Yeah, it's very much a gifting environment. There's nothing to buy. It's another misconception is that everyone barters. That's not really a thing. You just give.
Yeah. Just give, yeah.
With no expectation of anything in return.
Just give them water.
Yeah, or you bring gifts and you do certain things. And it's the part of it that I really love is just the wackiness and the weirdness. You'll stumble upon these just totally random little moments that just make you giggle, and that's important. That's what we try to bring to Salty Sundays is little special moment like that's
like
the
little
spirit.
baby burns.
Yeah, like just that. We don't take ourselves too seriously, and we shouldn't. And especially as adults, we forget that. And I just love when I was a little teenage Blaire, the first parties I threw ever were called wacky wear parties. When my parents would leave town, I would have all of my friends come over in Calistoga, and we would just rage at my parents' house. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I think they know at this point.
I tried to do that once, but my brother stopped it.
We would like, and they were called wacky wear parties, and everyone would just dress like completely ridiculous. Like one person would be in all like tinfoil, and then another person, you would just be completely ridiculous, silliness. And I think that's something I think that really that Burning Man does capture.
How long has Burning Man been going? Like when was the inception?
80s.
It was since the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over 30 years now.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was the first few burns were on Baker Beach in San Francisco, and then it started growing. Then it moved to the desert. But yeah, there's definitely. There's billionaires that go to Burning Man, and they have people who bring all their stuff in for them, and that is obviously very controversial. And
cell phones never used to be a thing.
The cell phones,
there
I
used
hate
to
the
be
cell phones.
no reception at
Yeah,
all,
right,
and that was
yeah.
an incredible part of Burning Man was that everyone was just unplugged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't do anything about
So
that.
there's
so
definitely
nowadays
like burner
you can get reception, and people are posting from the
Yeah.
playa.
Yeah.
It's changing things a little for sure.
Yeah.
But
the
it's
spirit-
you
the
should
spirit is
still
very
go.
much
I think
like-
that changed. No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
would
go.
love it.
I'm gonna
If
get
you
one.
like Salty Sundays, you would love Burning
I'm gonna
Man.
get one out. I'm gonna get one out just for the checklist.
Yeah, you can drive. You can drive there. That's the beauty of it. People
Yeah.
come from all around the world, and we're like, we can jump in our car.
Are you guys going this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. All right, man. We'll talk about it. We'll figure something out. There's no time better than now, right?
Yeah.
Even when you were talking about your health situation, I was thinking about a client of mine. He was talking about how he was going to retire soon, and they're going to go traveling. And his wife ended up having a battle of cancer. She's going through the battle right now. And as he was telling me that story, I was thinking about that me and my wife were having a conversation about a trip we wanted to take, and I was like, "Nah, let's wait," because, and I was like, "Oh, just money, or just you just make up these reasons." And after he told me that story, I came home. I was like, "Man, book that shit."
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm like
YOLO, baby.
Yeah. I was like, let's
So
go,
true.
let's just do it.
Yeah.
Like you just don't know,
Yeah.
right? You don't know. So I love the fact that I love the fact that I'm around so many people and so many different types of stories. And the number one thing you hit on too, like about the guy and his partner, right? You formulate these friendships and you break down so many barriers in conversation, right? And you meet them, and then I run into them in the street, and then they're like, "Hey," and they're giving me a hug, and it begins to break down a lot of the cultural BS that I even grew up in.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, no, the people are just people.
Exactly.
They're just people.
We're just like cavemen who just want to dance around the fire.
Yeah, they're just people.
We just want to beat the drum and dance around the fire.
And so, you just get this, and it's excuse me, it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful thing. And you guys are beautiful people. And I'm so glad that you guys were able to come on today.
Thank
and
you.
just share
Thank
a
you.
piece of your journey, a piece of your story, and it could be documented and show the world that Napa has a lot of cool shit going on.
Yeah.
In spite of all the bad press and all the, you know, it's not just a world of wine.
Yeah.
There's so many different people who are doing so much cool stuff. And I'm excited to hear about what you guys are going to do moving forward.
Yeah.
And
We'll
I
see
can't
what
wait.
happens.
I'll keep my lips locked. I won't tell anybody.
Might be like a Salty Sundays Grand Electrica spinoff. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, but you know, I hope that what you guys are doing is impactful enough to have more of a cemented staple that can be continued on a continuous basis instead of like more spread out, because we really need that.
Totally.
You know?
I mean, honestly, if we would be opening up a spot again if so quickly right now, if it wasn't for what's going on politically, and just the uncertainty of really everything happening right now. You know, so
things feel very volatile.
Things feel so volatile, and
yes.
it's honestly we got our daughter Australian passport, you know, just to make sure that if things got really bad, we do have a plan B, you know? So to be, you know, locking ourselves in to something that would keep us here if things got bad is a little bit scary. But at the same time, you know, we're really passionate about doing something. So
And we don't really want to leave.
we don't want to leave. No, it's so crazy right now, honestly. It's there's a lot going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We all feel the weight.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing to do, and not for you, but I'm just speaking in general for me, is sometimes, you know, just stand the ground and don't let people steal your joy.
Yeah.
You can't, you know,
There's
this
that
is the
too.
land of opportunity.
Yeah.
And we can't let people take that away.
Yeah. No, we need to be soldiers on the ground as well. It's this constant battle. I'm sure we all feel it.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
do. We do.
Yeah, it's like fight or flight, you know? So fight, baby.
Yeah, fight.
Fucking
you know.
fight.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. I'm
Thank
just
you,
like I said,
Jeremy.
I'm so glad you guys came, Blaire and Tamer, and we're so glad we had this conversation. And we'll see you on the next episode of Meet Me in Napa. Peace.